damage. Someone bumps into your back or the baby rolls wrong and damages that level of the cord, that's it. Everything below the level of the cord no longer works. So look, and we want to ensure that the sac covering is intact. And most of them have no symptoms at all. So the skin's there, and nobody will ever notice, no problem, except they may see a dimple or some hair. Leakage, if there's a break in the skin, or we get what we see, a spinal cord leakage from there, they must go to surgery. Before they get the surgery, what are you going to do though? You see some liquid and it's not urine at all. It has to be covered with a moist, sterile cover. Don't just slap anything on it. Moist, sterile cover with one hand and calling the doc with the other hand. They're going to fix it, or at least put it in. But the problem is with the surgery, that's when complications may show up, because they're now trying to tuck your spinal cord back into your vertebral column. What could go wrong there? Make sense? Okay, the myelomeningocele, the absolute worst thing, because it's sitting out there. It's the most severe form of the neuro tube. This can be, they can't see this action of ultrasound while the baby's still in utero. So if they see it, then they're prepared. Is this a child that's going to have vaginal birth? Absolutely not. It's hard enough when you're all intact coming down there. So this is one, they're going to have to go in, it's going to have to be a C-section, get that child out when it's time, and then see what can be done to protect its life. Now the fact that that cord is sitting out there, whatever part of the cord is out there, that's where the defect will show up. So if it's sitting up here, anything below that isn't going to work. If it's down low, that same problem, not going to work. So absent motor and sensory function based on what part of the cord is there, because those spinal nerves coming on are not going to be functional. So paralysis, orthopedic deformities, those two words up there, incontinence, because all of that is sitting low here, below the thorax. So the training for the bladder, it may be just neurogenic, meaning it doesn't have stimulation, but the bladder can be trained to hold a certain amount and then release. So there's training that can take place. Also, closing that defect may actually cause development of hydrocephalic condition itself. So they've tucked it in, closed it off. Well, that may now have caused what is known as a non-obstructive hydrocephalus. The fluid's getting out of the head, coming down, but before it was flowing out into the amniotic fluid, now it's not flowing anywhere. So now they may start to develop hydrocephalic condition itself. So the main concern when we see these children coming in is to be sure that we're going to be able to, first of all, they're going to surgery as soon as they possibly can, but you have this sac that is now sitting out. How are you going to position the baby? How are you going to keep the area clean? You betcha. Remember, we don't put them on, these kids go on their belly on their side. We can't put them on their back. We have to be sure that that area is going to stay sterile and moist so they can get through the surgery. We also now know that below the level, they may have bowel and bladder problems. So how is that going to be handled? We're going to have to put a catheter. Yeah, we put catheters in babies. They're tiny little feeding tubes. So cute as they can be. We slide those in to empty the bladder. Got to check to see, constipation. Did that meconium come out? And get things started, because we still have to feed them. So all of those things. Orthopedic deformities can also occur. We don't have the spinal nerves going down to the legs, so got to look at what's going on there. So any number of things. So your myelomeningocele is certainly the worst of the spinal, the most severe of the neurotube defect that's there. So the sooner it's handled, the better. Okay, so you're comfortable with the difference between a myelomeningocele and just a meningocele, as opposed to just a dimple in the back? Muscular dystrophy. Okay, this is neuromuscular. This is, the muscles are not being innervated. We have muscle tone, that's what keeps everything moving, but because of a neurologic condition, the muscles are not getting any stimulation from nerve cells, so we have muscle weakness that's gonna take place. Without the muscles having tone, that means they're gonna start wasting away, and that's what muscular dystrophy is. It's, Duchenne's, there's a couple varieties. Duchenne is the most common itself. It is genetic. It's passed on to the X chromosome. Absolutely no cure. So this is, the management of these children is, as time moves on, for them to, adaptations of what they need. These children, they start out seem perfectly healthy, no problems. As an infant, maybe toddlerhood, maybe they start showing signs before school age. Falling down a lot, pain, vague complaints, can't really put their finger on what's going on. And as they grow, it becomes worse with time for them. So they do spend, try to rule out, is it the muscle itself or is it due to lack of stimulation? Your electromyogram, which actually they put little, they're like little pins that they stick in the muscle to see if they're being activated. It helps to differentiate between a muscular problem and a neuromuscular problem. They're looking at serum creatine. Remember that creatine is the normal breakdown of muscle itself, and these tend to be rather high, and they'll biopsy. And then everything is symptomatic treatment for these children. Back up. Cerebral palsy is the other major neuromuscular complication. This is tricky. You can have damage to part of the cerebrum at any point as it's developing or even after you're born. These commercials, the lawyers late at night, if there's something wrong with your baby, call us. Oh, now wait a minute. It can be, might happen during the birthing process, or the damage may have occurred while the baby's still in utero, or it can occur after they were born. There are adults that will have cerebral palsy because they had a head injury while they were an adult. So it's not specific. Only thing you can tell is it's abnormal patterns and it changes. So you're looking at the individual that may be required to be in a wheelchair, to the child that doesn't really require anything, but you notice that their gait's a little funny. Now, tell you one thing, don't go off and start looking at your kids and everything else and say, oh my God, did they? They tend to be toe walkers. You'll see them and they toe walk along. That's also many times associated with cerebral palsy. There's nothing else wrong, but it's just one of those things that pick up. Now, that doesn't mean your child doesn't mean that because they're on their toes, they may want dance lessons, stop it. So you're looking at it. You can have a type of muscular activity that is spastic or flaccid. Now with spastic cerebral palsy, they are getting irregular conductions of electrical activity, uncontrolled electricity to their limbs, particularly their lower limbs. You say, well, that's good. No, they can't do anything when their limbs are jerking all over the place. So they will take a child with spastic cerebral palsy and they will cut the nerves to the lower part so they become flaccid. That way they can go into braces. And with braces, they can maneuver around. They can get around and do things. And some of them are flaccid, but you cannot put a person in braces that have spastic cerebral palsy. They'll break every other bone trying with the legs moving and doing whatever they want to do. So we look at kids coming in, parents have concern as to why are they jittery or difficulty with this or a spastic bladder, any number of things. This has nothing to do with their mental capacity absolutely nothing. This is strictly motor, neuromotor, problem. Yeah, questions? And yes, it'll all be on the test. I have 24 questions, I gotta pick some.